Welcome back, students. I still remain your civic teacher, Kate Ikudurim. We are going to be talking about electoral malpractices as a continuation from where we stopped last time. I hope you have been keeping your social distance when you're in public, keeping your hands, washing your hands regularly, making sure that you're keeping safe at home as we are under lock in this COVID-19 period. Please endeavor to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. If you go out, you come in, encourage your siblings to do likewise. Now let's go to electoral malpractice. Remember we talked about electoral body last time, and we talked about the functions of electoral body, the INEC, their functions, and we did mention that some of the function is to conduct election. Apart from conducting election, they are also to announce the results and also winner of the election. And after that, they give a certificate to the winner of the election. So today, we are going to be talking about electoral malpractices in Nigeria. In doing that, we are going to be looking at the meaning of electoral malpractices, forms of electoral malpractices, causes of electoral malpractices, consequences of electoral malpractices, and then how to prevent this electoral malpractice. Now, when we talk of electoral malpractice, what does it mean? Electoral malpractice simply means those irregularities, those wrong behaviors, those things that we do that will truncate the smooth running of election on the election day. So as I put it on the board, I say electoral malpractice means all irregularities, illegal actions, and behaviors that prevent the smooth conduct of election. During an election day, let's go back to our school that we took as an example the last time when we are talking about election. Let's take our school. We want to conduct election for the post of a school prefect. And because we prefer one candidate to the other, at the end of the day, Party A won. Party B, who lost, decide to go into the classrooms or into the staff room, destroy the teachers' tables, go to the computer lab, destroy the computers, and then go to the cafeteria, destroy the food vendors and stuff, just because they are not happy with the conduct of the election. That is simply what electoral malpractice means. When we destroy, when our behavior, our action destroy or disrupt the smooth running of election. So all those behavior, all those actions that are irregular, that are not good, that prevent the smooth conduct of election is termed as electoral malpractice. It could be like the one I just gave as an example in the school. It could also be when students or outside, when election is being carried out, you see thugs snatching out ballot boxes. We'll come to that when we come to forms of electoral malpractice. So electoral malpractice, again, as I said, is all the actions, illegal actions and behavior that does what? Prevent the smooth conduct of election on election day. Now let's see some forms of electoral malpractice, some of those behaviors, some of those actions that we might take that will prevent the smooth conduct of election. One of them is underage voting. What did I call it? Underage voting. Remember I said that the ideal age for voting in Nigeria is 18 years. But you find out that in some places, you see children that have not attained the age of 18 going to vote. And because of that, other people will be complaining. Because of this underage voting, you find out, like there was a time, people were complaining that in some certain quarter or some parts of the country, a lot of children were used in voting. children that have not even attained the age of 16, that they were seen voting with voters card. So people were wondering, how did these children get this voters card? So when we find children that have not attained the age of 18 voting in mass, you find out that that election will be termed irregular. That election will be termed that it has been marred with malpractice. So underage voting is a form of electoral malpractice. We have another one which is called fake ballot paper. You find out that during election time, some parties will bring out their own ballot papers, which is different from the one the electoral body had printed or have mandated to be used on election day. So when this is done, it is termed as fake ballot paper printing. You give people at the end of the day the ballot box, you find out that the ballot papers inside the ballot box are faked. When they are fake, you find out that people would complain, of course, that some party have stuffed the ballot box with fake ballot paper and in favor of one party to the detriment of the other. So fake ballot paper is another form of electoral malpractice. We have falsification of election results. This is done when the electoral body decide to favor one party against the other party. Let's go back to our school when we want to pick our school prefects. Where we said that at the end of the day, when we pick a person, and then the person that was picked, instead of the principal or the teacher to announce him or her as the winner, you find out that the teacher will be favoring the other person because they prefer the other person. That will be termed as falsification of election results. A won the election because A had 15 votes as against the 5 of B. And then you're giving the vote to B. When that is done, it is termed that you are falsificating the election result in favor of B. So when you falsificate election results, it will lead towards malpractice, and that election will be mal. You'll find out that people will revolt, people will be against that election. And then the last one I have on the board, which is not the least, of course we have more, is financial inducement. You find out because party A has the money to throw around, you find out that they will be inducing electorate or the voters to vote for them, even when they know that they cannot perform, even when they know that they cannot do very well. Even on that election day, when campaign is supposed to have ended, you find out they give out money, cajoling or forcing their votes on people, forcing their candidates on people so that people will vote for them. So financial inducement is another form of electoral malpractice, when we use money to induce people to vote for us, even when we know that we cannot deliver. So these are the forms of electoral malpractice. Then we have causes of electoral malpractice. Causes of electoral malpractice. Why do we have electoral malpractice? One of them is indiscipline, because people are not disciplined. People cannot take their yes to be yes and their no to be no. People cannot see what is wrong and stamp it to be wrong, because money is involved, because a lot of things like your integrity is involved. You find out that people don't mind. They want to make it at all costs. Because of that, they do all sorts of things to win election. So these are some of the causes of electoral malpractice. When you're not disciplined, when you cannot stand for what you want or what you term as good, it is a cause of electoral malpractice. But then we have the second one as overambition. If people are overambitious, like some of our electorates, some of our senators and so on. Sorry to say that. Some of us will see them as being over ambition because they go there not for our own good but for their own pockets. So they go there because they have ulterior motive. They are so over ambitious. They want to make it at all costs. So because they want to make it at all costs, at the detriment of others, you see them going to do what they ought not to do, even to the extent of shedding blood. So this is a cause of electoral malpractice, over-ambition of some of our greed. When we talk of greed, we talk of not being satisfied with what you have. You have gotten, but you still need more. Let's go back to our House of Assembly members, our senators. They have made it. They have this money. But you find out because of greed, the strength to have more, they keep accumulating the sweat to the extent that even their future generation, unborn children, they stop this money for them. And then the last one we have on the board is unemployment. Because of youth unemployment, a lot of people are out there. They have nothing doing. You find out that most of this, our House of Assembly members, our senators, they become tools in their hands. They can call them to come and commit havoc to the extent of taking guns, taking arms of ammunitions to fight on their behalf on that election day. So unemployment is another cause of electoral malpractice. When people have nothing to do, they become easy tools for others to use them to perpetrate evil. And then the other one, another subtopic we'll be looking at is the consequence of electoral malpractice. What are the consequences? If there is electoral malpractice in an election, what will be the aftermath? Of course, one of them is the imposition of unpopular candidates. When an election is carried out and you declare the person that did not win as the winner, and the person become the president or the school prefect, and we know for sure that we did not vote the person in, of course, you're imposing an unpopular person to us. He becomes an unpopular candidate. Of course, whatever the person say, we just look at him or her and say, okay, we did not vote for you. Just go there, do your terms, and at the end of the day, you leave us. So the imposition of unpopular candidates is a consequence of electoral malpractice. Then we have absence of foreign investment. You find out when there is electoral malpractice, foreigners will not come into our countries to invest. They will not bring their money because they will say that our economy is not stable. There is crisis in the nation and they cannot bring in their money to come and invest in a place where they will not yield profits or get profit. Then the other one is loss of lives and properties. Of course, when there is electoral malpractice, there are a lot of lives are lost, properties are lost. You find out people go to the extent of burning people's houses, cars, and so on. You find out dead bodies on the streets. People will complain that they have lost a lot of money because their properties were set ablaze. A lot of life are lost when electoral malpractice happens or is carried out during election. Then we have high crime rates. Of course, the rate of crime will be so much that some people will be sleeping with just one eye closed because there is unemployment, crisis everywhere. You find out people will take to armed robbery, and because of that, the rate of crime will be so high. So these are some of the consequences of electoral malpractices. Having said this, how can we prevent electoral malpractice so that anytime there is an election, it will go smooth and free, and then the winner will be declared, everybody will be happy? We have one of them on the board, is to train and retrain INEC staffs. Who are these INEC staffs? They are those people that this commission employ to be what? To be the registrar, to supervise on the election day. You find out that some of our House of Assembly members, they go to the extent of bribing this INEC staff. But if they keep training and retraining them, of course, if you want to induce them with money, they know and they have the discipline, they will refuse and declare the right person as the winner or take the vote as it counts. So we need to be training and retraining the INEC staffs as often as possible to do what? To prevent electoral malpractice. Then the other one is that the commission should do what? Should be independent. When we say independent, that it should not be influenced by any third party. We'll find out that some of our candidates, because they are highly placed and they have the money, they go to the extent of wanting to bribe the commission boss. They want to induce him with money, but if he's a person that is so independent and they have made the commission independent on its own, that no outside influence can dictate to it what it ought to do, you find out that our election will go smooth on the day of election. And then another point is that adequate security should be provided. There should be adequate security on the day of election. The police, the civil defense, the man-o'-wars, they should be there. Even the soldiers should be there, at least at a distance, during the day of election. By the time people or thugs see these security men, they will be cautioned. If they want to perpetrate evil, of course, they will know that they can't do that because the security men are there. So there should be adequate security on the day of election to prevent what? Electoral malpractice or ballot box snatching. Then the last one we have on the board is the enforcement of electoral law. Our problem in our country, we keep saying, is that we have a lot of laws, but the problem is how to implement it. We have these laws, but we need it to be enforced. By the time we enforce our laws, you'll find out that those that perpetrate evil, those that are out to commit one crime or the other, will be restrained. And then at the end of the day, our election will come out smooth, free, and fair. So these are some of the ways we can prevent electoral malpractice on the day of election. Of course, I have your notes for you, which I will give to you, and then assignments. I pray and I hope that you will go into your books, your textbook, of course, and Google, and then do your assignments. I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.